amazing because I realized, and it has been ringing in my head all the time, that why do we tell people to take responsibility of their actions when we are not responsible for anything that has happened to us, both good and evil? Why do we say that? Eddie Owidi from Kenyatta University, welcome on board, sir. So why do we tell people, we are quick to tell people, you must take responsibility for your actions. We keep on shouting that to people. Yet we know very well that whatever has happened to us all along in our past, whether good or evil, we are not responsible. I keep on reminding you that here every time, that you're not responsible for any action that has happened to you, anything that has happened to you, whether good or bad, because you don't have an idea of what it is, whether it's good or bad. You're just judging. The deceiver in your head is lying to you that this was bad and this was good, and then you believe him, so you become, you identify with that. So why do we tell people that you should take responsibility for your actions when we know that these people, these people do not have the ability to actually, they are not responsible for anything they did. So why is that so? And then another question, a lot of Christians, when you ask them about their Christianity, most of them will say, I have a free will. Okay, God gave me a free will to choose what is good and what is evil. So this is because I have a free will. And then my question again goes, do you have a free will? Do you really think you have a free will? If you have a free will, how is it possible that you know very well you need to identify with the spirit of good and then you go ahead and sin? And the weird part is you'll see Christians saying, the radical Christians telling you, I sin or because I'm human. And a simple question, I ask people, do you have anger? So I ask you, are you a Christian? You say yes. And then I ask you, do you have anger? And then you're quick to say, yes, I have anger because it's human nature. So you're actually judging and actually now creating an excuse or quoting the nature of evil. And then I'm like, why do you say you sin because you're human? Why don't you just say I sin and that's it? Why don't you just say I have anger? And then others will even go ahead and compare the scriptures and say, you know what? Jesus turned tables against people who are actually made the temple of God a marketplace. So he got angry and he turned the tables. So if the one that we follow, our elder brother Christ, if he had anger, why would I not have anger? Then I asked them, do you think Christ had anger in the fallen state like you? And then they're like, So this conversation is actually very tricky. But I want you to know this. Anything that has happened to you, you are not responsible. Just remember that there are two spirits. Because in the spiritual world, it's either good or evil. It's just white and black. There is no in between. There's no I'm human. You're either good or you're evil. Choose you. Now, if you identify with the spirit of evil, that spirit is the one that controls you. Therefore, everything you're doing is coming from that spirit. It's an instruction from that spirit. And the spirit of evil is very clear because it controls you through your imaginations, your thoughts. That's why I tell you thoughts are evil, imaginations are evil. You thinking about having a past or having a future is the most evil thing ever because you don't have either. They're in your head. So that person who is your deceiver is in your head. He lies to you through your own imaginations and thoughts, and then you believe him. Once you believe, you become. You see that? So if you start doubting your imaginations, that's when you'll see the bigger picture. That's when you'll see how evil that spirit was. And you'll not hate it, you'll discern it. And as I'll be talking to you about this, you'll see. Most of us, like for example, if you've been told you'll present a speech, or we have you as a guest, we need you to talk about something to a group of people. Now you'll go deeper into the intellect, you'll go researching and doing all this preparing for the speech. Mark my words, one of the worst things you should ever do is to prepare for a speech. Because whatever you're preparing is not you, it is that spirit that is actually controlling you through imagination. So when you sit there, you're trying to prepare for a speech or a conversation, you're just going for the intellect, you're forgetting the common sense. And the problem comes in here. Immediately you finish that speech, you'll start judging yourself. Did I do well? Why did they not clap so much? I needed them, because you're now developing expectations. If I do this, I expect this from them. So you're going there, you're nervous, but you're just hoping you can just strike that mark where you'll actually make the public or your audience to relate with you. You've been told you need to actually fold your hands this way so that people can trust you. You don't need to pocket. You need to be official and all that. And all these things are going through your head. And now you're thinking, I need to deliver the best speech so that these people know I am the best. That is ego. Now, when you get there, you do that speech, and possibly people are yawning, they are bored. You don't know what to do next. Or after the speech, you start judging yourself and start creating these false ideas in your head. Why did I do well? Was there something I should have done better? So you're judging yourself for actually speaking the mind of the evil. So that guy in your head is the one who is actually telling you, you know what, you should have done this way. You should have done this way. So if you don't prepare for that speech, you ease yourself from the tension that how will they receive me? You don't care. You're there to provide a speech. And the reason why they called you for that speech is because they know you have something they don't have. So where do you find the need to start preparing? Yet they saw that thing in you that you don't see. And then they called you for this conversation. And now you're there, you're wondering, what will I say? Oh, should I prepare it this way? Listen, they had an option to call somebody else, but they chose you. Why? Because there's something they see in you. So already you're already prepared. That's why they saw you anyway. For example, if you call me to talk about sugar, why do I need to go deeper into books reading about sugars? And yet I'm the one who is talking about sugars here all the time. That means I was doing this for the likes, right? For fame. You know that? So I was doing it for fame. I was doing it for the likes. And now I have to prove myself. I have to prove myself that, you know what, I have this thing, I know about sugars. Immediately I start thinking about proving myself. Wrong idea. The nature of evil. So I want you to understand that. So we suffer because of judging ourselves for no good reason, for things that we are not responsible for. Oh, you'll realize once you get an identity, you've been free all along. And I kept wondering, why am I so afraid of things? Why am I so insecure? Why am I so all these small things in one? Why do I have all these false identities? And why do I constantly blame the people who are around me? Yet the scriptures are very clear that the real world is happening inside you. Even the kingdom is actually inside you. So why am I constantly seeking for things that are outside me and then blaming the same things? Yet mistake is mine that I'm chasing these things. However, immediately you get an identity, you realize that mistake was not even yours. It is the spirit that you actually allowed to live in you. And that spirit was taught to you by people. All of us are born with the spirit of light and spirit of God. All of us have the ability to do the things that Christ did, that God can actually make them happen. Because He, if you identify with His spirit, means you are of His nature. So you can actually be perfect. But when you're asked if you're perfect, what do you say? If somebody asks you, are you perfect? What do you say? We are always trying to say, I am not perfect. And the reason is we are comparing ourselves to somebody else or to something else. That's why we think we are not perfect. So we have an insecurity inside us, but we don't want to admit because the devil deceives us every single day through our imaginations. So it's time for you to start doubting your thoughts. And trust me, immediately you start finding that route to getting an identity, it becomes difficult for you. Why? Because the nature of evil does not want to die in you. That is one. Number two, that guy will start shouting things here. Start telling you to say, tell them this is hard. Tell them that how long will this take? Tell them that now I've forgiven my father and my mother. What next? How long is it going to take for me to get my own identity? Just understand that is the same person who was actually getting you into hell. That's the same person who was making you have doubt. It's the same person who is telling you what to say. So simply take about 10 seconds before you respond to that thought. You realize that thought was not necessary to respond to. Now, on that note, ndo tunaanza. You were never created to judge. No human being was created to judge. But we do that all the time. We even judge ourselves. Look at you judging yourself and hurting and suffering because you've judged yourself. Take, for example, that story of the interview or that story of the speech. You've delivered a speech and you still feel inadequate. You still feel there's something I've not done. That's why they did not clap for me. I mean, who told you they're supposed to clap for you? How can we deal with that guy in the mind? Thank you so much that question keeps. You don't deal with him. Don't deal with him. Simply be aware. Be aware that this is happening because every time, even when we're saying we do a silent prayer, your mind starts to wander all over. You're thinking, why am I doing this silent prayer? That is not you. That is the same guy in your head. So what you need to do is to doubt him. Doubt what he's saying by not acting upon his thoughts. Can I give you a good example? Another good example? You see, when somebody is busy trying to provoke you so that you get angry and respond, that person who is trying to provoke you has no problem. He's actually living his life. He's in his own hell. He doesn't even know. Because most people who are angry and in hell, they don't know they're in hell. Because when you're in the dark, you don't know anything about light. Until somebody shines light to you, you'll never know. So that person who is trying to provoke you, he has no problem. He's just living his life. It is you who has a problem. It's you who has anger, because you've allowed the spirit of the devil to live inside you. So in your head, the devil is trying to tell you, please respond to him so that he knows that you have ego. So the ego inside you is the one that is supposed to die. So that ego is the one that is telling you, please respond. Please abuse him. Make him know that you're superior. Make him know that he's stupid. Make him know that he's actually offending you. It is the ego in you. That is the nature of the evil. So what do? Imagine when somebody is talking to you and trying to provoke you seriously, and you are aware that this guy is trying to provoke me, because you have to be aware. That's why we stay present. So when you're aware this guy is trying to provoke me, what do? You simply stare straight into his eyes and just relax. You try to imagine somebody trying to abuse you or somebody trying to provoke you, and you've just stared deeply into his eyes and you're saying nothing. The beauty about an argument is I throw an abuse to you and you throw a bigger abuse to me. It makes me feel bad so that I can now throw a bigger abuse than yours. You see that? so that is the beauty about an argument. Nikupe unipe. And when I give you one big one and a very personal one so that it hurts you. And when I'm hurt, I decide, oh, you know what? I'll give you the bigger one again, because I'm now going to air your secrets out. I'll say things that will actually hurt you. And then I say it, and that's how the argument escalates to a beating. You guys are now physical. But imagine me trying to tell you, oh, you know what? Your mother is the most useless. Imagine your mother was talking about aborting you. Oh, your father is a weak man. Your father drinks alcohol. That's why you look like this. You are so weak, just like your father. And you're busy staring at me in my eyes. Do you think that argument will continue? And you know very well, at that moment in time, there's somebody talking to your head. Please respond. Please tell him that his father is also a prostitute. Please tell him that you are gay. That guy is telling you here. Yeah? But you just choose to ignore, because you are aware that this is not me. The anger that is boiling in me is not me. It is the ego in me that is trying to die. It doesn't like dying. So you simply look at them, stare at them, and then make a silent prayer. Just say, Lord, I hope that they see light, because they are in the dark. The problem comes in when you judge them and you think they are making you feel bad. Now, nobody can make you feel bad because you have control over your own emotions. So nobody can make you feel bad. It is just you who has the nature of evil. You have anger inside you, and that person has just presented a chance for you to actually exercise your anger and your evil nature. Oh, and now this guy here amplifies that. You respond in a way that everybody will know. And then 10 minutes down the line, the same guy is coming to tell you, why did you do that? Why are you so weak? You can't even control your anger. Same guy who told you respond. Talks to you here, respond, abuse him. Comes and tells you here, oh, you know what? Why are you so weak? Yeah? So the only thing you need to do is to stop playing God by being angry. Stop playing God by pretending you're a Christian, by pretending you're a Muslim, by thinking that just because you've read the Bible, you're doing charity, you are the best person ever. Stop playing God by thinking you know God, because immediately you have an idea of who God is, you've remodeled God in your own image. That makes you an evil person because you've judged already. And now when you get to that level, you start thinking that everybody who is not doing what you're doing is the evil person, because how come they're not doing this? And that's why scriptures become a problem, because most people read the scripture and they think just because they've read the scripture and they've internalized it and they are actually practicing what is there, they think everybody else who is not practicing what they're doing is an evil person. Look at you in church thinking that those who don't go to church are evil. You're already an evil person for judging. You're not created to judge. You're not created to judge. Look at you looking at somebody and thinking, huyu sasa, hii kelele yake anapiga kila saa. Look at you judging relationships. Look at us judging our president, the one that we elected. Look at us. Look at us having all these picking sides. Any trending story, we have to pick sides. And we are thinking, you know what? We are good. Hey. When my dark side is provoked, my anger gets out of control. Lazima tusalimiane, I cannot control it. Yes, you cannot control it because you identify with it. You see, you've already identified with the spirit of anger. You're even saying, my anger. It is not your anger. It is the spirit that lives inside you. So you already have anger inside you. Those people did not provoke you. They just provided a chance for you to exercise your anger. Okay? So you're evil from inside you. You need to accept that I am evil. Instead of saying my anger, say, you know what? I admit that I am evil. Once you do that, you have actually seen the bigger picture. And you're actually telling God, you know what? I'm unable to do this alone. Please take this burden off me. Because we are not able to take that burden off ourselves. He does it. And you'll realize all has always been well. It is just you who has not been well. But everything around you is just well. Once you realize that inner peace inside you is complete, that you have perfect peace, everything is okay. Even if people are fighting around you, you don't even you don't care. You don't. It's none of your business. Let them fight. I mean, they're in the dark, you're in the light. One day they will have to fight. Actually, you trying to stop that fight is a problem, because you know what? You're thinking you're the better person. You're thinking you know what you're doing. They don't. So you have to actually stop them. You build the ego problems. And now maybe these people needed to fight so that one gets hurt, and through suffering, they'll know God. Did you know that through suffering is when you know God? So why don't you let them mind their business? Why do you think you're the better person? You'll go there and you'll be beaten to hell. They will turn against you and beat you. Your politicians now have turned against you, and all of them are now united. They have been given positions. Even the one who gave you the COVID vaccine all through, now is coming in to give you the livestock vaccine. Did you see that shift? Hello? He pretended to disappear from the scenes after making billions out of COVID. And now he came back, right? And now guess what he's coming back to do? He's coming back for the livestock. When we have this big debate about vaccines in livestock, he has come back in the same docket. So he has been rewarded for being a very good ambassador for the COVID vaccines. And you're seated there, and you know our Ministry of Health, even our minister, our cabinet secretary of health is a puppet. You know very well, but you don't want to say it because, oh, I'm afraid they might come for me. They will bring down my channel. Oh, I am afraid because my reputation. You don't have any reputations, guys. You don't have a reputation. That is just the evil nature trying to deceive you, and you believing it. You will realize nobody cares. Just because somebody trended on Twitter, you think now they've ruined their reputation. It doesn't matter. You don't have a reputation. Your only reputation is, are you evil or are you of the good? That is the only reputation you have. So now we are trying to impress people from 盛 and telling them, you know what, we can pick your son and put him here. It is not about that. That is the shallow aspect of it. Because politicians want us to be very emotional. Oh, they've given us this seat. Oh, you know what, they care about 盛. Oh, you will always be unstable. You're not thinking, you know what, the DP that was actually impeached is the better one because now he's going to tell us the truth. He's not going to say anything. They are the same people too. Ni wale too. It is you who is suffering in your own imaginations. So we elected these people because we are evil. We are in a fallen state. So until we come back and reconnect with our Father, we will not do anything right. We'll keep on doing the wrong things and then blaming them for what who we are. They are a sample of who we are as a people. So stop thinking that the government is coming in to change your life. Stop thinking that now, because they've elected the former governor for Murang'a to come in and try to solve the mess that is in Kenya Bureau of Standards, you're thinking now there will be no aflatoxin anymore. There will be no imported rice that has problems. There will be no sugar with mercury. You are lying to yourself. You're still going to consume the same things over and over again. Because they are a sample of who we are as a people. We are evil. We need to admit that. And then now, can you imagine that now we'll have 2 drug barons, very well known, you know that. How are our children going to survive? They pretended they hate each other so badly. They spoke nonsense about each other. But now they have to speak the same language in the media. Now they go on interviews and say, oh, you know what? That was in the past. Of course, we don't want to judge because that is in the past and nobody has the past anyway. But understand that if you fix yourself, you will have a sane mind when electing a new leader. You see that? So we need to fix ourselves. The problem is not them. As we blame them on Twitter, as we blame them everywhere, they are not the problem. The problem is us as a nation because those are our sample. They represent us, who we are as a nation. So we're just evil. So you think if you get out Kasongo and bring in somebody new, there will be a difference. This is the same concept. And you see, when you express desperation without an identity, it becomes difficult for you. And this concept can actually be explained using ladies. You see, ladies, when somebody asks you what you're looking for in a man, and then you tell them what you're looking for in a man, these people will actually make that image of the man that you're looking for. They will become the man that you're looking for. So you'll break from one relationship to another, thinking that this one is a different one because he gives me flowers, because he treats me nicely. He's the same wolf. You only told him your weaknesses. You told him, the other relationship, this is what happened. I had to leave because of this and this and this. And now this guy paints you an opposite image of who your ex was. And now you're there weak on your knees. And now that's a third heartbreak. That's a 14th heartbreak. And all that. You call them heartbreaks. It's the same thing that is happening in politics. Same thing that is happening in politics. We are moving to elect other people with the same evil spirit inside us. So we are not moving anywhere. We can even be transported from here to United States and vote there, and we will vote the wrong people. Because the spirit is inside us. That spirit is inside us. Look at you trying to chase a political seat. You're thinking that you're the best one, yet the only reason why you're thinking you're the best is because you've not had that position. You get into that office today, and all your cousins are lined up for positions of ambassadors. And you're thinking, oh, you know what? Look at you giving 50 shillings to a traffic police for an offense you've not committed. And then you go ahead and say, polisi wanapenda hongo. Look at you. You don't see the bigger picture? So you give out willingly. You did not commit any crime, but you just know, you know what? Because you've been told, polisi wanapenda hongo, you're already removing 50 shillings to give a traffic police so that you actually run away. Because you know, inside you are evil. There's something you're up to. And now, you don't identify that as a problem. You're identifying those ones who are taking billions. You're saying Adani is the problem because he gave you 95 billion for no good reason. He's going to take more from here. How about the 50 bob that you gave out without... Is that not the nature of evil? Is that not just you with no resources? If you had a chance to be in that office, let's say the interior, you would actually order this police to actually get out of that road when you're passing, right? Is that not true? We are evil. We need to change. We need to fix ourselves. That's why we identify ourselves here. We get our identities from those that we resent so that we don't become just like them. Now we resent our president. We will definitely become just like him. We will become just like him. So evil and even worse than him. But we will never take responsibility. Okay? So anyway. So when I was on my path of identifying myself or finding my identity, I kept on wondering. I was aware of life, but I kept on wondering, why is it that I do tithe? This is a Christmas season. From the time I was a child, we would go to church and practice these dramas and all that, the plays, and we act. I used to act as Herod. I don't know if that's where my identity became a problem. So I kept on taking this role of Herod because I loved how I controlled these people. So Herod, well, so I used to do these things. I was tithing. I was going to church every Sunday. I was doing these skits and all that. I was singing in the choirs and because I had this voice, my friends. Those people who went to Viga High School will tell you, and Kakamega, they will tell you that this guy was that guy in the drama festivals. I was there. I was in the choirs and all that. I was trying everything to just make it in life. Shout out to my guys from high school. So I was singing in church, I was tithing, I was there reading the Bible, through trying to understand things, trying to cram the Bible because I actually envied the priests. How did these guys get to cram all these Bible verses? And when I was working in KNH and living in Thika, I made it intentional to just read the Old Testament. So during the morning hours, when you're in that matatu and people are sleeping, I was busy reading the Bible. I had this app on the phone. So I was busy reading the Old Testament to understand it. But I got to some books that got confusing, like Numbers. I read Numbers. I'm like, how do pastors get to know that Jesse was coming from this place and that one? I'm like, Don't forget, there's a story about theology. I'll tell you one day. So So I'm like, hey, how do these guys get to cram these things? And then they make a scripture make a lot of sense. They'll take 2 verses in the Old Testament and 1 verse in New Testament. All these are combined and they make sense. So why is it that I'm trying to find out about God and I know God, I think I know God, but I'm so inadequate, I'm so insecure, I'm so weak, very bitter. I even, at some point, I was unable to correct women. Imagine you have a girlfriend and this girlfriend does everything wrong. boys in the building, men, let me use men. So you have a girlfriend or a wife who is totally disrespectful because you are weak. She's angry, she does nothing right. You see those chores that we want women to do naturally, they don't do them. You're there going to provide, coming back with all this food and all that. You make sure that she doesn't sleep hungry. But you'll come back to the house and still find dishes in the sink and you have to do the dishes. And then you do them hoping that maybe she sees that, tomorrow she will correct. So instead of telling her, you are afraid of telling her, you know what, I need you to do this. Because by the time she's failing to do that, it means you're very weak. You're the problem. Because ladies will always do things for the men they want. They will always do these things. The natural roles, they will do them perfectly. These ladies will wash your clothes, bro. These ladies will clear those dishes. They will clean that house without being told. But immediately you start telling her, you know what is this doing here? And you know how men will behave. One socks is there, the other one is that side. And you come back, those socks are there. In the morning, you're trying to look for where are these socks? Where was the other one? It was not picked, it's still where it was. Ladies will do these things naturally. If you are providing, if you're protecting her, if you're stoic and you're masculine and you're providing the masculine energy, and then you know God. They will submit automatically. But you wait until your weakness comes up. Oh, they will use it against you so badly. They will even shout against you. They will shout at you. I've just seen a video today where a lady is saying, ladies, please, and this was in relation to the video that was trending, the one that Alma girl actually broke up with the boyfriend live on television. Hey, wanaume wanapitia. So I was watching a video that was actually responding to that video, and that lady in that video was saying, you know what, me, I have a perfect boyfriend, and when I met my boyfriend, listen to this story. When I met my boyfriend, she actually used the word malenge. Do you know what malenge is, guys? Malenge is a pumpkin. So this lady said, when I met my boyfriend, he was a malenge. She did not stop there. She said, he was a malenge Pro Max. So this guy, not only was he a pumpkin, he had a lot of seeds. and no fiber. So I had a boyfriend who was a malenge, not a malenge Pro Max. Yes, a kafukusui. A malenge Pro Max. Okay? So guess what I did, guys? I took this malenge of mine. I settled for this less malenge. And what did I do? I built him. And now, guys, my boyfriend is a perfect one. He sings so well. You should listen to him singing. So I made him. I made him. So actually, you are the mother. You decided to build a man. So I made my boyfriend. And guess what? I am so good. I am that good girlfriend that I've decided to come and actually air this to the public so that I can shame my ex Malenge Pro Max. Aye. Well, ladies, I told you the last live. If you build a man, you're building him for another woman, possibly a younger woman than you. Just wait, you will see. Oh, we'll be in tears here. And we will come here and say, you know what, we said this. So the Malenge Pro Max has become an ex-Malenge Pro Max. Now this ex-Malenge Pro Max is going to find a Malenge Pro Max and mold her into the wife that he wants. Because this one cannot be molded. Because she is the one who built him. You see that? Women are not designed to build men. No. They are not designed to build men. And that's how they end up misbehaving, because she'll come there with all the emotions. She's trying to respond to a video. She's innocent because the spirit that lives in her is the one that is actually controlling her. So she's not responsible. So she's coming in to just air her views to you guys as her fans so that she can actually look like the best one here who can actually take care of this boyfriend. Whatever she's not telling us, we don't even care. We don't even want to judge because, here we are fighting identities, right? But you know where we are headed. Anyway, let's go back. So I used to think, why am I so weak? Why do I have no perfect peace? And I kept asking questions to myself. So I was self-aware. So I kept asking myself because I thought I knew God that moment in time. And the fact that I thought I knew God, I had ideas about God. So that was the wrong idea. And that's one of the things that you people think. When you think you know God, you don't. You have remolded him in your own image and your own ideas. That is false. So now I'm here, I'm wondering, why don't I have perfect peace? Why do all these people that I'm actually getting involved with, they come and they go? Why do I feel empty? Why am I hollow? Yet I have this system, call it a support system. I have dual parents, I have a father and a mother, very stoic father, the order is there, respected. I have siblings who we share very good bonds. I have people that I call friends. And then I have this girlfriend. All these are my support system. Then I have a spiritual father in form of a pastor. But why do I still feel hollow? Why do I still feel depressed? Why are there some days I wake up, I don't feel like doing anything? This is the same thing that you people are going through. Every single day you're wondering, why am I this way? Why am I this way? Why am I the one who is left every time? All my friends have relationships that are working. I'm the only one. All my people are married. I'm the only one. All my boys have jobs. I'm the only one who is coming here to depend on them and asking them about favors. Some of them want to block me, but they can't because they're feeling guilty. So you ask yourself all these questions. And immediately you start asking yourself these questions. That's when God comes in. Because that's the time you are dropping your ego. Do you see yourself going for an interview? Do you see how humble you are? No ego, no nothing. You are the most humble person. Get that job and be there for 2 months. Get a salary. Oh, that humbleness was a false identity. It's no longer there. You see what I'm talking about? So we are always trying to mask the nature of evil. And it's not our fault. Therefore, we are not responsible for anything that is happening to us. The only thing we need to do is to choose the spirit that lives in us. Because that spirit that is actually inside us, that is controlling us, the evil spirit, is taught to us. Schools teach us, parents teach us, relatives teach us, society teaches us through morals and values, and you will one day talk about morals. You realize there are no morals. We need to follow commandments, not morals. So when you think, this is immorality, you are the one who is immoral. There's nothing like morals. There's just commandments. God did not give us morals. He gave us commandments. Follow them. Don't follow morals. Morals are man-made. And so is most of the religions that we people are actually submitting to. There is nobody who is supposed to come in between you and God. There's no broker. The light that shines every day, that shined in that person, the light that God gave to every one of us can actually shine in all of us. We have the ability to do things because we are perfect. And even the Christians know, I can do everything through He who strengthens me, through Christ who strengthens me. So if Christ did these things and is the one who can actually strengthen you, it means you can do all things that He did. So you are perfect. So stop saying I'm not perfect because you're comparing yourself with to other people. You are perfect the way you are. Okay? So I was wondering, why don't I have this peace? And I realized I've had all this peace all along. I've had it. But the problem is I was so conditioned and brainwashed to think I didn't have it. So I believed the deceiver in my head. The deceiver constantly told me, oh, you know what? You are not perfect. You know what? You need a degree. You need to go to school and up your game. You can do better if you're above them. And that's what made me feel so insecure. So let me tell you something about this this social life of mine. And if you can use it against me because you're evil. Some of you have used my stories against me. That's why I think, beat me up. I have followers just because of the content that I offer. You people, so this is the point. You see those people that you're calling friends. You see that person that you're calling your girlfriend or your boyfriend. I want you to do this and see. Because ladies have constantly told you that a man who is interested in seeing your father, that is the ideal man. These other ones who are interested in buying you gifts and opening your legs, run. So look at it this way. We call these people friends. We expect them to behave in a certain way so that we get happy. They please us. That's what friendship is all about. But I want to ask you one question. Face your friends and ask them All of them. Just ask them, even now on a text. Ask your friend, what do you think is the value that I have added to your life? Ask them that question. What do you think, ever since you and I became friends, what do you think is the value that I have added to your life? Now sit back and allow your friends to tell you what they suck from you every single day. Wait and see what your girlfriend sucks from you every single day. Oh, you make me feel good. Oh, you make me feel secure. Oh, you love me the way I am. You've healed the wounds that I never thought a man will come and heal them. You've taken a step ahead to actually take care of the son or a daughter that I have, that I never knew a single parent can be loved, and you came in and you stepped in. Yeah? Wait until they say all these things. You are a provider, you are a protector, and you love God, and you've taught me a lot of things. Wait until they finish. And then tell them thank you. And then ask them, what value do you think you've offered me? What value do you think you've added to my life? What value do you think? If you are a lady, what value have you added to your boyfriend or your husband's life? That question shows you how empty people are. People will come and suck energy out of your life. They will suck time. They will suck resources. They will call you the good names. But you ask them, what value are they bringing into your life? Wait and listen to the crickets. But wait until they start telling you how you're treating them unfairly. How you're treating them unfairly. Oh, you know what? You don't care about me. You're not emotionally available. I'm like, okay, all right, okay. So let's analyze this clearly. What do you think is the value? Now that I'm not emotionally available, why are you still with me? What value do you think I add to your life? Put emotions aside a little bit. Let's talk. What do you think is the value that I add to your life? Let them yap and rap, and then tell them, okay, thank you for that. And what value do you think you add to me? Just wait and see how crickets are behaving. Crickets in the head. And you're like, Allah. I thought I'm treating you unfairly. So you don't add any value to my life, but I'm treating you unfairly. That's the moment you realize you don't have friends. You don't have a boyfriend, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have a wife. You just have an imposter who is here to suck blood. You don't have a husband. He's there, he wants you to build him for another woman. That girl who is in your life, she's there using you as a stepping stone to a man that she wants. Because most times when a woman tells you, I am single by choice, they are lying to you. They are telling you that the man that I want does not want me. So I'll settle for you as I hope that that man gets to me. I'm single by choice. Which choice? The best place for a woman to be is in a marriage or a relationship. That's how they exercise their powers. You think women like cooking foods and eating the same foods on their own? At your PK, I take a whole afternoon thinking about what she'll cook, and then she cooks the food, and then she sits there to eat it and say, oh, you know what, I'm the best cook. You think she loves that? Hey. You think a man will go hustle hard to make money so that he can now go in a club to buy the most expensive alcohol? That's still a boy trying to actually experiment with different thrills. Yeah. So let's go back to that story of mine. So I'll not say the year because, hey, problems. So I had this girlfriend, underline girlfriend, okay? And we were using each other. It's only now that you can actually see the bigger picture that we definitely were using each other. So possibly I was using her for my thrills, she was using me for the thrills. So this is the point. The point is, this is a lady I dated for about 3-4 years. And and dating her for 3-4 years, I think I was so weak that she never experimented with anything, any ability of a woman. For example, in these 3 to 4 years, she never cooked. So she would visit, then stay about 3-4 days. And by the way, it's very exciting for a woman to visit, stay for the shortest period and leave. I don't know why. Is it the reason why marriages are breaking? Because people are now living with this. During COVID, people are looking at each other and like, people are looking at each other like, hii ni gani? Huyu ni yule nilioa. So 4 years she never cooked, so I never knew how her food tasted. She never did laundry. She never did anything. And of course, I admit I was weak and I was evil. So now I'm bringing in everything. I'm trying hard to make sure that I'm working hard to make sure that she's provided for and all that. So one day she decides, and I hope my friend, there's a friend of mine who I hope one day he comes and shares this story too. His story, because he used to live in one house. Okay, so now one day she decides, guys, I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to make you a very good meal. We're like, And that was what it takes. I'm telling my best friend, guy, bro, niaje? Mama amesema hii weekend anakuja kupi na hata tusinunue kitu. She's coming with her own things. Do you know how exciting that is? Mama is coming with her own things. She's coming to cook us her favorite meal. That is on Tuesday. We are waiting for her on Friday evening. So you can imagine the mindset already on Tuesday. I'm even thinking of my Jack Daniels on Thursday. Should I just buy it on Thursday? So keep in mind that 4 years down the line, she has never cooked, she has never done anything. No role like a woman roles apart from the sex. So now I'm here, I'm like, okay. And this lady is one lady who actually got us in trouble. We used to sit down with the committee to just make sure we want to surprise her. And I know most of you are actually going through the same. We could sit down with the committee to decide, this coming Valentine, we are going to break the internet. We are going to make sure that this is going to be super. We are planning this on January 1st. Beste zangu, tumevuka tu mwaka. We're already planning for Valentine's. Allah. So are we going for a cake? Are we going to... There was a time we went to Gikomba. That time I was living in Nakuru. So we imagine from Nakuru to Gikomba, because we're told in Gikomba you'll find everything. I went to Gikomba and bought the biggest teddy bear. So we bought the biggest teddy bear. And now this teddy bear, we had to sit with it in a matatu back to Nakuru. Surprise, your birthday. So anyway, so now we are on Tuesday. We are waiting for Friday for her to come and make this amazing meal for us. And then I was tempted to ask, which meal are you making? Now, I am a Luya man, so I thought here we are going to do meats and all that. She said, no, don't worry. But just have a hint that I'm going to make some good spaghetti and something else. My first question to my friend, spaghetti. We are going to eat spaghetti and I'm going to get the suffering the whole night, because of course after the spaghetti I have to spaghetti to a Luya man. But anyway, because she's cooking for the first time, we are excited. We are like, okay, no problem. Wednesday comes, Wednesday morning I'm busy sweating. I'm like, hey, itakuja lang. Thursday comes and Friday is here and she comes. So she comes with spaghetti and and we decide to take a stroll. I used to play football, so we go and take a stroll around a few grounds there in Nakuru, so that we come back, the meal is ready. Mama has done her thing. So we come back, she has not finished cooking, but she has boiled the spaghetti and she has put them aside. Now she's busy cracking eggs. So this journey of eggs started a long time ago. So she's cracking eggs. I'm like, this is going to be interesting. Eggs, spaghetti, what are we making here? Then she takes the elianto, puts on a sufuria, puts in the spaghetti, leaves them to dry a little bit. I'm very keen because I want to see what is happening here. And then she adds in the eggs. And then akikoroga, the more she's stirring that, I'm thinking, are we doing the right thing? You guys know. Are we doing the right thing? Like, okay. Because I was one who was used to cooking when she comes over. So she makes this thing. And then now at some point, I'm just now, whatever comes, may. My friends, if you've never tasted spaghetti mixed with eggs as a surprise, hey. On a Friday evening. There was a club in Nakuru called Dimples. I don't know if it still exists. Hey, Friday evening. I have forgotten everything. Now I have to eat spaghetti mixed with eggs. You should have seen my face. And my guy was like, where daktari? So now you see, we have to eat it and make sure that we make her think that this was the best idea ever, okay? You see how I was a liar. I was like, I don't even know how to hold the spaghetti in the first place. I'm like, acha tu tukule tu juu sasa iko na mayai. Tunachota na kijiko ama tunafanya aje? I'm like, that food kwenda hapa. Uongo. I just said, you know what, when we went for a walk, tumekula mitura huko kwa barabara huko Shabe, tumeshiba. Hii tutakula kesho asubuhi. So, every time I wanted to correct her about this, the words will come from the stomach and then they just zinakwama up. They stick in my throat. I can't say anything. Okay? So I can't say anything and the words are there. What is happening to this nonsense thing here? So the words are coming out. Okay, just a minute. Let me fix this. Good. So the words are busy in my stomach. They are coming up, but zikifika hapa kwa throat, zinakwama. So I want to tell her, you know what, girl, I've dated you for 3 years. I would like to see you doing some laundry. Yeah? I have these ideas and I want to make sure that she gets it so clearly. So I'm coming with this idea that, you know what, you need to actually make a meal for us or make a meal for me. At least do this for me. But the words come from the stomach. I have that zeal to say them. And when they just come here, I'm like, oh, they go back. So I was wondering, why is it that I have so much fear for her? And yet she's not the Mona Lisa. She's not the angel or the princess that her father lied to her that she was. So I was so afraid of her. I didn't even correct her. So I had to eat that spaghetti to just make sure that I suffer in my own ego. My ego was stepped on. Yeah. So I know how difficult it is to actually face a woman and tell her, hey, this is not right. Because most men don't know what is right. So they can't even tell a woman what is wrong or what is right. They are born in the nature of evil. They only know evil. So how do you expect them then to actually lead by example? How do you expect them not to go for a woman who is providing for them? How do you expect them not to share bills with a woman? They don't even know that that's not the right thing. They are born from the spirit of evil, from the nature of evil. They are in a fallen state. So how would they know? And that's the point. The point is most people who are in the dark, they don't know they are in the dark. They will keep on judging themselves. They love their hell. They will not want to come out of that hell. If you try to bring them out of that hell, they can even destroy you. This is the reason why you tell a woman, hey, this guy is not your type. You are the one who is providing. Please drop this relationship. She doesn't get it. She doesn't. She is in the dark. So don't even be an advisor to those relationships. Just let them suffer in their own hell. Once they get to the rock bottom, they will see God. They will come back. Hey, my friend, we've suffered. Yeah. So for you to actually understand the bigger picture, these 4 years that I had this lady, the only thing that was in this relationship was sex. Nothing more. We were just using each other because we shared a lot of different things. Remember, at those times, I wasn't that guy who was so much into alcohol and all that. But she was that girl who was in alcohol. She was a party girl and all that. And I was even afraid to tell her, you know what, I don't like this. She never played any chores. She was chaotic. She was angry. She used to get angry. And when she gets angry, she's the one who wants to break all the glasses and all the cups. And then tomorrow morning, she's apologizing. And now we have to formulate a lie to our parents to send us some money to buy new cups. Ay! Tumetoka mbali. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, you need to find identities. Mbaya sana. Every Markman, atulikuwa simp. That's true. That's true. I was born in a fallen state. I suffered, my friend. For 4 years, just trying to make sure that Valentines are something. The pressure of proving a point. That I have to do something special for her birthday. Now imagine you carrying a whole big teddy bear in a matatu from Nairobi all the way to Nakuru with a teddy bear bigger than myself. I'm like, hey. So that when you get to Nakuru and there are people who have brought teddy bears to their girlfriends, they are like, hey, tumefanya jokes. Hizi ni jokes. Hii kitu ndo kubwa hapa. Ego, my friend. That is the only money that you have. And you're buying teddy bears all the way in Gikomba. Aye. Oh, like, 𝗙𝗣𝗘𝗘. Yeah. So anyway, allow me to advertise my platforms. If you've never been on my YouTube channel, damn, 4 years is a lot. Bro, it is a lot of years. And years of darkness. You know, that's years of dating and sex. Years of darkness, bro. Years of darkness. And I know some boys, just when they transition from the spirit of masturbation, they start using women for masturbation. You see that? So they transition from masturbation thinking that they've healed from masturbation, but they did not fix the spirit inside them. So they just transition this masturbation spirit into women. Now it's aimless ejaculation, ejaculation after ejaculation. And now it's P2 after P2. So they give these women all these contraceptives every time. A guy is willing to actually spend 200 shillings on buying contraceptives just because he had an aimless ejaculation. And sometimes you get into prostitution. You're picking up a prostitute, going to have sex with a prostitute. Sex that will last you about 5 seconds, an ejaculation of about 2-3 seconds. Now you have to spend a lot of money to these women, to these prostitutes. Imagine that. Women are thinking now, you know what? I left that other toxic relationship. I am now getting a new experience. I'm now knowing God. I'm going to church now. I've stopped being a lesbian. Now I'm in church. I want a man. I cannot be judged by my past. God does not judge me. So I want a man now. I am in church. And now in that church, you end up falling for another prey in that church. A very good keyboardist or a very good pastor in that church. He speaks in tongues and speaks that volume. You know that volume? You know that volume of pastors? That sound? He does that. And now this is the man who is eyeing you. A man after your heart. Get to marry him and see that man out of the pulpit. He's busy asking for anal sex from you. You just dropped lesbianism. You're getting a man who is now into your behind, using the exit. But you can't speak about it, right? Because you're still evil. You don't know what is good. You thought you're running away from this, and you ended up attracting the same thing. Because whatever you run away from, you attract it. Because you did not fix you. So you attracted what you are. You actually attracted who you are. So most of you are in relationships, in marriages, and your husbands are busy asking for anal sex. Hey. So Doc, how did you find your identity? I've talked about how I found my identity for a very long period of time, bro. The only thing you need to do, you don't need to know how I found my identity. Try and stay present. Just try and stay present, doubt your thoughts, and then go and forgive your mother. Because most of us have a spirit of our mothers. And when you tell men to forgive their mothers, they become so angry. So go and forgive your mothers. Because you need to die off that spirit of the mother. Because have you ever known why an emotional man is called a woman? It's because you portray the characters of a woman. So therefore, you need to go and overcome that nature of a woman in you. Go and tell your mother, you know what? I've realized along the way you remodeled me into your own image, and that made me resent you. I didn't even realize it. But now that I realize it, I also realize that I've been resenting you for no good reason. Therefore, I apologize. Do not tell your mother, I forgive you. No, tell her, I apologize because I've realized the mistake is mine. I shouldn't have judged you. I've realized that I was wrong to resent you. I'm not supposed to resent human beings. So I have realized that is my mistake, that I've been resenting you for trying to remodel me into your own image. Once you say those words, do not wait for your mother to say anything. Do not even be, you can listen to her respond, but do not pay attention. Just pay attention, but do not act upon her responses. Okay, let her speak, and what she's saying, let it go through here and get out through here, because she'll pull the emotional move. Do not fall for that emotional move, because once you just tell her those words, that burden of anger and emotion is taken out of you, and you get a new breather. And now, the next step is you go and face your father and tell your father, you know what? You've raised me into this son that I am right now, but I realized along the way I was resenting you because I hoped that you could step up. Because some of you are actually, when you're growing up, you're actually punished by your mothers. Women don't know how to punish children. They punish emotionally. So they attach an emotion to the punishment, and they end up over punishing the child. That's why sometimes they shout to a child and then they regret later. They want to apologize. So what happens is you need to overcome the nature of a woman, and then you go and overcome the nature of your father, because you must tell your father that he was weak. You must admit that, you know what, through your weakness, I became this resentful. You allowed my mother to actually put this identity in me, and now that I've overcome my mother, I'm reconnecting with you and your spirit. And that's how you get your identity, because identities are gotten from our parents. And you must overcome the spirit of evil that has built a home in most women. And now marriages are full of women who are very angry, and men who are very weak. So women are angry at weaker men. Our fathers were weak. They didn't know because they're in the fallen state. So they allowed our mothers to actually divert their anger to us. And their mothers raised us in their own image. They remodeled us in their own image because they wanted you to avoid the mistakes that they did. As a lady, first of all, if you're a lady, you'll see. Your mother is constantly trying to make sure that you don't do the same mistakes that she did. And that's how she ended up remodeling you into her own image. That's how she imparted her false identity in you. So you must overcome that identity before thinking of getting a man. And if you're looking for a man, that is a mistake. If you find an identity, you will not look for a man because you will not be inadequate. You will attract a man. Okay? So you will not be looking for a man, because when you forgive your mother and you overcome her, you go and reconnect to the spirit of your father by forgiving him. That's you killing the ego. You die from your ego, and now you resurrect in the spirit of good. And once the spirit of good is up, you feel so adequate. You have what we call the perfect peace from inside you. So whatever is happening around you will not affect you in any way. Okay? So you'll see all the things that are happening around you are evil, but you are in heaven because the kingdom is inside you. So you're not bothered about what is happening around you, because that is just part of the hell. So you are in the world, but not of the world. That's how you'll get to avoid this. And you see, by seeing that this is evil, that is not you seeing. That is the spirit of light. That is the spirit of good and the spirit of God that's actually showing you that this is evil. So you don't judge it. Don't make an opinion of it. Just watch and be patient and stay patient. And if your mind starts wandering around, know that that's an evil spirit trying to get you off. Come back to present. Just be aware that I'm wandering, my mind is wandering. Come back to being present. Always stay present and doubt your thoughts every time. We won't be judgmental to ourselves. You don't need to judge anything, not even yourself. You see, when you judge yourself, you're sinning because you don't have the ability to judge. If you're a Christian, if Christ came in and did not judge you, who are you to judge yourself? So that judgment is dragging you into hell. You live in that hell for a long period of time. And look at it this way. After judging yourself, do you find a solution? You just feel bad about it. And you realize you are the only one who is feeling bad. Everything around you is just all is well. You are the only one who is feeling bad about it. There are so many ladies that have been raped when they were growing up. And they are raped by cousins, they are raped by uncles, they are raped by stepfathers. And all this is actually going to build up later on. This has made them so angry. I wanted to have a conversation with a lady, but I hope she can actually come in some other time because she said she has had a lot of things today. She will not make it. She's called 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. Do you know who 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 is, you guys? Do you know who 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 is? So there are stories of two ladies that I want to talk to you about so that you can just to see the bigger picture, okay? How many people know who 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 is? 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 is... I knew her from a radio station. She was a presenter. I don't know if she's still a presenter. I wanted to know that from her. So this lady was so bold and vibrant. Very bold and vibrant. And I used to think, why is she so masculine? Why is she so masculine? So I never got the answers because I never had a conversation with her. And I didn't want to judge her because judgment is evil. So I used to feel how she rolls conversations. She sounded a little bit bitter about life and all that. And I was wondering what happened to her. What is happening to her? Why would she be so bitter about life that way? So I didn't know if it was her personality or she had gone through experiences. But then later on, when they start sharing their stories, that's when you realize they've gone through hell and back. And I'm glad that she's on her journey on her healing journey. And I saw she's now an author. So when I used to listen to her on radio, was it Radio Jambo or something? And then she disappeared. So I then followed up her story later on. I saw she went into alcoholism and all that, and the partings and all that. Then she got this facial palsy due to chronic alcoholism. And it was a sad story. And then I dropped that story. I went, did other things and all that. And then later on, possibly, I think somewhere in October or somewhere. Either October or September. I came back and found her story. She was doing TikTok videos, and she was doing things, I think, called a chapter a day. So she was reading a chapter every single day, a chapter of the Bible. And I got intrigued. I was like, what changed? Okay, so I was like, what changed? She was that lady, now she's this one who is trying to push this another agenda of the church and and how she's getting her spiritual aspect of life. And I just followed in slowly and carefully. And then before I loaded that she's now reading a chapter a day, she has a book. I'm like, okay. So I got intrigued by her story, and I wanted to actually do, and we will actually try to host her. I've actually contacted her. So I hope that we can actually get to roll this conversation on one Identity Friday, so that you can actually get her stories. And you'll see how identities are a problem. She's actually now preaching how to forgive your mothers and your fathers and treat them a little better because they don't deserve it. Okay? Yeah, so you can check her story out. Another story was, back then, I think in 2021, 2020, during the COVID season, there was this lady who was so vibrant, and we related to her comedy so well. She was called Brenda Jones. She's still called Brenda Jones anyway. So she was, I think she was rolling a show, President Kingston or something. Do you remember that? Kenyans, do you remember that? And that Auntie Waharia, this lady who is a cougar, comes in and picks this small boy, and then picks this small boy and then treats this small boy, and then she's excited with very small things that this Kajenzi is doing. You remember that lady? Very beautiful lady. So she made us see how identities are a problem. That young boys are actually chasing older women for sexual thrill and for these material things. And then, before we even understood that she's actually giving us this commented of comedy, Aya, she comes and says, you know what, I'm a lesbian. I'm like, oh yeah. I thought we are here for the comedy. We are again talking about the umbrella. She's a lesbian, and now, you know what, blah, blah, blah. And I came to realize later, she actually experienced rape earlier on in her life, and she was raped by somebody who was from the church. And it's not once, it was thrice. I'm like, why? Okay. Hii kanisa sasa mambo gani haya? And so she became a lesbian. And I'm like, I've not even understood what President Kingston is doing with his laziness. I've not even understood what was the name of that boy who was being picked by the Harry auntie. I've just seen the identity problem here. Before I even respond to it, now I have to address now the auntie. Kumbe the auntie was the problem. Pure lesbian, now she's preaching the gospel of how we can transition from this to that. I'm like, Allah, Brenda. Yeah. Yeah. And then I dropped that story again. So these stories have a way of finding me. So during this week, I was doing my internet walks. I get to find a video of her. She's preaching. I'm like, Allah, okay. And then she's saying, you know what, the devil deceived me, and I went into lesbianism and all that. The evil me, at that moment in time, would have judged and started saying, oh, you know what, you see, I have experimented with life. I have been a lesbian. I have done all these things. I am now a perfect wife because I've done everything. Now I can settle. I'm like, so the evil nature in me is telling you, that guy here is telling me, please, Daktari, judge her. Yeah? Judge her. Tell her. Or just speak about it. You know what? Now I have experimented with everything. I can now settle. Because I am now mature and experienced. Now, please, a man should locate me. Because now I am saved. I love Christ as my personal savior. And I know my past was not as good. So therefore now, God help me see. But then I'm looking at it with a different angle. I'm like, she doesn't have a past. So she doesn't have to constantly remind us about her past. You get that? She doesn't have a past. She's judging herself. Actually, by the time she's thinking about her past again right now, she's actually showing us the image of who she was. And that image will keep on ringing in our ears because most people are very evil. So if any case, if somebody who is interested in her as a man, this man is not genuine. He's coming in to actually show her, you know what? I just want to test how a lesbian tests. An ex-lesbian. So therefore, no genuine intentions. So she will attract a male, but she has to work on herself so perfectly so that she can actually get the identity. You realize she might be in church, but she has never forgiven the mother. She still has the identity of the mother. She has never overcome the spirit of the father, the weakness that she had. And possibly if you go deeper, you'll find there was no father figure, or the father was very weak. So she didn't have the masculine energy to actually show her how to behave around masculine energy. You see that? So therefore, when you're trying to move from one relationship to another, and this is happening all over. We've seen even the other one who has just transitioned from the LGBTQ community now to the other one. I'm even wondering, why is it that now Young girls and young boys are actually transitioning, transgendering at very young ages. They don't know what is coming in because their future is bright if they have a future, that is. Most of us don't have a future. But if God gives them the grace to live up to 40 years, what will they think at 40? And they are so angry. You know, I don't know why you cannot roll a conversation with somebody from the umbrella and this is a successful conversation. They can't allow that conversation. They just want their way. It's all either their way or their way. They cannot allow a conversation. So they want to explain to you how we have all these genders, we have all this umbrella thing and all that. But just tell them that, you know what, you are confused and this is evil and you know very well this is evil. Oh, that's where you draw the line. I mean, you can call me evil without me getting upset. Because at some point I know I portray some evil characteristics, right? But you tell them that, you know what, I think, and my personal view is, you are confused and you are born a male, and even if you change your organs, you will still be a male. It doesn't matter. You can't run away from yourself. Okay? So you must, if you are somebody who actually knows God, you must point out the evil nature. You will see it, point it out, do not hate it, discern it, and then point it out. Just say, you know what, this is not my lane, this is not right. Because when you have the spirit of light, you will see what is evil. But when you're in the spirit of evil, in the darkness, you will never find a chance to see what is good because you don't know what is good. You're in a fallen state. So you must overcome those emotions, those thoughts that are in your head, the devil trying to convince you that, you know what, you're born in the wrong skin, you're born in the wrong country, you're born in the wrong gender. We must be bold enough to actually do this. But if you question these people so deeply, you realize there's an absence of that godly order, that God above men, men above women, women above children. There's the absence of that order. So there is no father figure, and when there's no father figure, the children don't know how to behave. Because women tap order from a stoic man. So if the man is weak, women become angry. And now they have to defect this anger into the children. They now remold their sons to be boys or to be men in quotes, who will not be the same as their fathers because their fathers failed. They remold the ladies or the girls to be the direct opposite of their fathers. And you know, the biological fathers are the earthly representation of God to every child. So if you ever turn them against their fathers, you're turning them against God. And these children will suffer until they get to reconnect back with their biological fathers. That is what we call salvation. Salvation is not you going to when you kumlima uombe 1 year. Hata uombe 1 year, your spirit is still the same. You're actually praying from your mind and your thoughts. So you're praying to your father, the devil. And that's why a silent prayer, because it comes from the heart, is the best prayer. But the ones that you're praying from your head, the one that you're demanding for things from God, that is the devil trying to tell you what to do, what to pray. And now you're praying to your father, the devil, and you're thinking you're praying to God. That is not God. God is not in your thoughts, it's in your heart. The scripture and the kingdom of heaven is in your heart. So simply wake up in the morning and make a silent prayer and always stay present. Anytime you're trying to wander in your head, come back, stay present. You will see the real identity. You will see the light, that you can actually have the light and you will portray the light. You don't need me to be a broker, right? So yeah, call these things out. Anyway, I was marketing my platforms. 1, Health and Wellness Spot on YouTube. Please go there and subscribe. Number 2, Health and Wellness Spot on TikTok. Follow me there. Number 3, Health and Wellness Spot on Telegram. Go there and join the masses. Number 4, Lewis Muchile on all other platforms. Instagram, Facebook, and X. Go and join the healthy masses there. Because one day you'll wake up and these platforms are gone. If you're not on the other platforms, you'll miss out on a lot of information. Okay, and thank you for supporting us. And then we have an online consultation line. It's also used for physical consultations. Normally we do physical consultations in Nairobi at the end of every month, except this December, and we'll do it in January, at the end of January. So you can use the contact 0707 07 47 22. Text on WhatsApp to book your appointment with us. Do not call, start telling us stories. Do not text a whole paragraph. Text what you want. Go straight to the point. We don't have all that time to start reading a whole paragraph. Text what is needed, what you need us to help you. You'll be guided to book an appointment to have a conversation with us. Okay, Mickey has pinned it on TikTok. So yeah, it's time for you to bring in a conversation. It's Friday, and by the time you're doing another Identity Friday, will be past Christmas. So enjoy this one as the last Identity Friday before Xmas, before you go and eat your chapatis and all that. It's been an amazing week. So if you would like a conversation with us and ask those questions here, instead of asking them in the comment section, put them here on this conversation. So you can start requesting through TikTok. You can also use the contact 0707 2020 74. So if you can make a call to us, you can use 0707 2020 74. That will be a direct call to us if you're on YouTube and you would like to have that conversation with us. But if you're on TikTok, you would rather prefer just getting in as a guest and we have this conversation rolling. So let me see if somebody has some questions here. What about orphan? This question has been asked several times. That if you're born and then your parents die and then now you don't know where to get your identity from. The reality is, if your parents are dead, you're actually safer. So you only need to find the one who was your guardian. So that, because she or he was the one who remodeled you into their own image. So you must overcome that identity from them, the false identity. But some of them will lie to you that your parents died. Nowadays, you see there's a lot of children disappearing in hospitals. Right? Yeah, so some of them will lie to you that your father died, your mother died, or we just found you on the streets. If you are born and raised in the orphanage, the one who was actually acting as your guardian is the one that you actually overcome. You simply go and face them and tell them, you know what, I've realized along the way when you're raising me, I started resenting you without even knowing. And now that I realize it's wrong for me to resent a human being, I apologize. And then stick in prayer. Do the silent prayer every morning and every evening, before bed and after bed, and then stay present. Okay? And one thing that you people should know, I see one mistake that most of us do, we read the Bible to remember it. The Bible is a scripture, and the scripture is already inside your heart. So you already have a scripture inside your heart. So you don't need to remember the Bible totally. Don't put yourself under pressure to remember the Bible. What you need to do is use the Bible as a guide. For example, if you're going somewhere and you use a map, once you arrive to your destination, do you need a map? You don't need the map. That's the same concept with the Bible. So read the Bible. In that moment when you're reading the Bible, give it all the attention that it deserves. After that, you don't need to remember anything because the scripture is already inside you. If you get the identity, you will see the light. Okay? You will see the light that you need. So I really ask Christians, why do you identify with the spirit of evil and you still say that you are saved? Oh, you know, Christ is my personal savior. And then I ask you, do you get angry? You're like, yeah, I'm human. I'm like, anger and love cannot sit in the same heart. You must overcome the anger for you to see love, for you to see light. If you are of anger, that's why the scripture also says that somebody who has anger or who shames the other in public is a murderer. So if you have anger, you don't know love, you don't identify with Christ, you're not a Christian either. So if you have anger, you're of the nature of evil. The other side is love. And you can live a perfect life without anger. You can lead a whole life without anger. You can. You'll realize you have been always free. You've always been free. You just didn't know. Because the spirit of evil has overwhelmed your thoughts, lies to you and deceives to you, and then you believe and then you become. It makes you make judgments, makes you feel insecure, makes you feel unappreciated, makes you feel sad, makes you feel so unsafe, and you overthink, and then you give it all these names. Oh, you know, I'm an overthinker. All these are beautiful names that are quoting the same spirit. Just the same demon, but with different names. Yes, it is, I'm bitter, you know, if you have bitterness, you have the spirit of evil. If you have anger, you have the spirit of evil. If you resent anybody, you have the spirit of evil. You must overcome that spirit for you to see light. Yeah, at anxiety, at depression. All these are just names given to different demons of the same home. So you must overcome those demons inside you. So Javan, I hope you've understood that you must overcome that spirit of evil by forgiving those that you resent. And most people don't know they resent people who actually acted as guardians. They don't even know they resent their mothers and their fathers. That's why when you tell them to forgive their mothers, they tell you, but my mother has not done anything wrong to me. That's the point. The point is, even myself, I never thought my mother was the problem. I never thought I was portraying the spirit of evil and the spirit of a woman. I never knew that I was portraying these female characteristics and women did not like it. So I kept on playing the victim by blaming them when they leave. And it's just right, because I didn't portray the masculine energy. I was a bitter male. And then I kept on chasing. Why am I looking from one woman to another? Why? Because you have no identity. So you're thinking that your thrill will be satisfied by getting a new relationship, only to find out that this other relationship is even worse than the first one. Oh, you thought this guy slaps you. Wait until you get this other one. Who calls your mother and abuses your mother in front of you? But this was the best one. When you left the other relationship, this one made you overcome. This one actually made you move on. You call it moving on. What are you moving on from? Human beings? When you have the same spirit. So you did not move on. You can carry that spirit to the US. You still attract a Mzungu there, the Mzungu that you're talking about. You will attract a Mzungu there with zero identity. Very weak. I saw this story of this lady on the Lynn Gugi show that was saying her and the brother organized for her to get married to a Mzungu because the Mzungu was so weak and he looked like he was going to die the next minute. So they went ahead and did this quick wedding, and then they relocated to Germany. And when the Mzungu died, she realized, oh, this Mzungu had written nothing for her. She got nothing. Even after organizing all these things and doing all this lavish wedding and making them go faster, she realized, hey, this Mzungu was a step ahead. But she thought, this one is my last relationship. I'm going to reap from this one. She was the one who was used. So you see, we get in relationship with a very wrong idea. Oh, she suffered, my friend. Mnasema suffer. That woman still has the bitterness in her, even now. She still talks it, and you will see, hata kama anafanya hii mambo ya nakada, she's still very bitter. Yeah, she's funny though. Very funny. You can laugh. You can laugh the story all through. But the problem is, you can simply see in that laughter, there's always a gap of identities. You'll see it. So she recovered from alcoholism and all that. Hey, that story was interesting though. So you'll see all these identities, and this is the beauty about you finding an identity. You'll be able to see them so fast, and you'll think, hey, why didn't I get here earlier? But you see, you don't have a past, right? Yeah. So always stay present. Always stay present. This lady was alikuwa amejua hii nao niwezi. Hapa nimeangukia. A man makes his resources over time, and then you just come in and put up a wedding, and you're like, hey. The German government told her, we don't even recognize you. That wedding is for Kenyans, not for. Now she became so bitter. Depression now sets in. The same spirit sets in. So we are all evil, and we are trying to use each other. But when somebody points it out, you get angry. So you think just because you get angry, you'll feel better. You get angry, you don't feel any better. You ask yourself, how can you know God, but you're still angry? Anger is not perfect peace. How can you even think that you know God? You're tithing, you're going to church, you have spiritual guide, you've read the Bible, you've read the Quran, you're this perfect guy in the society, you have all these morals. How is it that you have all these things, but you still overthink? But you still feel the hole inside you. There's a hollow part in you that actually you keep on wondering, where is this coming? When will this be filled? You see that? God is a God of adequacy. In God there is order. There's no way you can know God and still feel insecure, and still feel lonely, and still feel angry, and still feel bored, and still feel inadequate, and still chase a career. You will live in the present and still think about the future that you don't even have, and the past that you don't even have. You will always live in the present. Why do people get stagnant in a relationship? Listen, nobody's getting stagnant in a relationship. All of you have no identities. There's nothing like stagnant in a relationship. It's just you attracted who you are. And at least explain to us, what do you mean by stagnant in a relationship? So that we can actually show you the real picture. Okay? Those are the conversations that you should bring in. When you call in, you should bring that conversation. I'll answer those questions and you'll see the bigger picture. Huh? How can I reduce weight drastically? Where? Find your identity. Is jealousy a spirit too? Yes, it is the spirit of evil. You just quoted. Is one of the demons that is coming from this house of evil. You just quoted the jealousy. Listen, when you're adequate, why would you be jealous? Imagine knowing God and you're still jealous. And then radical Christians will tell you, oh, you know, God is God is jealous. God is not jealous as you are. You are in the fallen state. So you don't even know what you're talking about. When you get the light, you'll see what it means to be jealous in terms of that aspect of God. Oh, God destroyed people. Our God is a jealous God. You are told that in CRE. Somebody told that to you. You need to teach yourself something by getting your identity. Hi, Doc. Just discovered your channel. Good content. I appreciate Abdirahman. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you. Hey, most of you are judging the story about me and my girlfriend. My girlfriend. You guys. You don't know I was in love, Bana. Eh? I had fallen in love. I ate spaghetti in my eye. That one I'll never forget. Mnasemanga ati forgive and forget. Spaghetti in my eye. Yeah, forgiveness. Yeah? We listen but we don't judge. Anyway, I think we should call it a night because I see people are afraid of bringing that conversation on board. Nobody's willing to come in. I wanted to address this. There's a question that was brought in. You choose Murima at your own. Wachana mambo ya Murima. Hiyo Murima ilinipata Nakuru. I didn't know. At least ningenipata Thika ningesema this one has found me in Thika Center. Ilinipata Nakuru when I was headed towards the western region. Metropolitan. Cover more topics. I looked into stats. Zapon scary stuff. Oh yeah, bro. Pornography is another demon coming from the same house. And when people are trying to handle pornography and masturbation, they are looking at it on a shallow aspect, the scientific aspect and the medicine aspect and all that. We can never win that battle. We have to agree that a lot of youths, a lot of Gen Zs, and a lot of people, even the adults, are masturbating and they are watching porn. They are doing it and they don't know that they are in the fallen state. They don't. Because if they knew, they will not do it. And that's where our answers are coming in. Because we say, do you think you have free will? If you have a free will, how is it possible that you end up sinning without knowing? So who actually made you sin? Therefore, whoever told you that you have a free will lied to you. They lied to you because you don't have a free will. The spirit that lives in you is the one that actually controls you. So if you choose the spirit of good, you will do good. If you choose the spirit of evil, you will do evil. Therefore, you don't have free will. Others call it, you know what, self-control. Self-control. You think you have self-control? You think so? Yeah. Yeah. Free will. You don't have free will. What you have is the spirit of evil that is lying to you, deceiving to you, and you believing that you have a free will. You don't. Whatever we are doing is actually coming in from inside, from the world that's inside us. Can you forgive your dad if he refused to attend your wedding and walk you down the aisle? You must forgive your father. If any case, you started on the wrong footing, if you don't forgive your father and get your identity from him, that marriage is going to crumble. It's going to crumble because, listen, the ideal man is the one that faced your father, the one that took you from your father. So if you see your father being resistant about that, there's a problem. There's something that you don't see because you are blinded by the love. And again, your father did not have to walk you down the aisle. No. So now that you're already in the marriage and you've made it official, simply go and forgive your mother. Start with your mother. Stop blaming your father. Start with your mother. Overcome the spirit of your mother because your father senses the spirit of your mother inside you. That's why he keeps on running away from you. And of course, he was a weak man because he would have been there to witness his daughter having this wedding. So you need to forgive your mother first to overcome the spirit of that woman who remolded you into her own image. And then now you go and face your father and tell him, you know what? I realized I've been resenting you for you not attending my wedding and I apologize. And then whatever they say should never mean anything to you because they don't have an ability to forgive you. It's God who forgives. So that anger that you have already right now, those emotions, the overthinking, the inadequacy, the hole that is inside you will be filled. God will fill it with love, and now you'll know how to love your children. You'll know how to behave around your man. You'll know how to submit and respect your man. At this moment in time, I know you're thinking that you love your man. Women are incapable of loving men. If a woman loves a man, that woman becomes the mother to that man. Because women are only capable of loving products of their own womb. They cannot love a man. They respect and submit to a stoic man. So a woman, if you're a woman and you're in a relationship that you love or you think you love the man, you're lying to yourself. You're in the wrong relationship. Women are supposed to naturally submit and respect a stoic man who is a provider and who is a leader. Okay? Men are the ones who love women because love flows from God to the man, from the man to the woman, from the woman to the children. And that is the order of God. Anything apart from that is the evil nature. Is the evil nature. So go and forgive your mother, overcome your mothers, and keep moving and stick in prayer, silent prayer every time. Now let me give you some hacks here. Salute to Dr. Muchile. Keep us going. Cool. Igwe, thank you so much, official. I appreciate that, official Husu. So let me tell you something. I want to give you some tips on how to actually survive. And you can actually experiment this for about 7 days and see what happens to you, okay? 1, doubt every single thought in your head. You see those thoughts that are coming in your head, do not act upon them. Pay attention to them, but not act upon them. For 7 days straight, keep doubting everything in your head. Because those are not your thoughts, they are evil thoughts. They are put there by somebody, they are put there by the spirit of evil, and that spirit uses those thoughts to deceive you. So you're saying we have to submit to a man and not love them. I'm not saying that. I'm telling you there's an order of God. That God above men, men above women, women above children. And that same order is how love flows. Love flows from a man, from God to a man to a woman, from a woman to the children. There's no other way around. That you can now you can love a man or children can love their mothers. It's not making sense. The other way around is respect and submission. So love is coming from up downwards, and from downwards upwards is respect and submission. Now, if the man is weak and does not know God, the family is messed up because there's no love, there's no order. So then the women become angry at this weak man, and this anger is now portrayed in their children, is now pushed into the children, and now the children become so emotional, so angry and messed up. They end up attracting who they are, people who are so angry, and people who are also messed up just like them, because we attract who we are. And as the woman resents the husband, you become just like your husband. You become masculine, therefore you must go out and look for a job to provide for your children. You become so emotional, and now these emotions are overwhelming, so you have to channel them to your children. That's the reason why you end up shouting at your children. And because the man is weak, he's not there to protect the children against the emotions that are coming from you, these children start to resent the man. And when you resent your father, you become an evil person because you're turning away from your biological father, and that is your earthly representation of God. And that's how the problem comes in. So we suffer because we've disconnected ourselves from our earthly gods, who are our biological father, the creators. And until we find that connection back to our fathers, we will never know peace. We will think we know peace, we will think we have the best marriage, but we are suffering from inside us. We have this emptiness of our biological fathers. What about trusting your instincts? You don't have an instinct, bro. You have a spirit inside you. Those instincts are just the nature of devil. The devil trying to lie to you through your thoughts. They are your thoughts. They are not instincts. They are your thoughts, bro. Not unless it's a gut instinct. You know, the stomach is the one that tells you the truth. There's that gut instinct. That one I can agree. But that instinct from here. Your mind is the home of the devil. What of children in polygamy settings? Now listen. I don't know. You know, most of the things that, basically most of the issues that we go through are because of the virtues and the societal views and the morals, okay? Now, even if you're coming from a polygamous family, it's not your fault. You're not responsible for anything that has happened to you. The polygamous family was not your idea. It was an idea from your father, okay? So you must reconnect with your father, whether you like it or not. You must overcome your mothers and then overcome your fathers, and you'll get your identity back. So it doesn't matter if you're coming from a monogamous family or a polygamous family. It doesn't matter. You must overcome the spirit of your mother because it's actually inside you. It's one that is making you angry. And the weird part is mothers don't know about this because women are emotional. And the emotions are the nature of the thoughts. The thoughts are the nature of evil. So they allow the spirit of evil to live in them. They allow it. They allow the spirit of evil to live in them. And that's why the best institution for a woman to exercise herself is a marriage to a stoic man. Because that stoic man will actually help her understand her nature. That stoic man will prevent this woman from putting or lashing her anger and emotions into the children. And that is the role of a father. The first role of a father is to protect his children from the emotions that are coming from their mother, before even thinking about external aggressors. I have joined the train. Thank you so much, Osoro Basil. Welcome on board, bro. It shall be amazing. How about single parent families? Single parent families, I'm glad you used the word single parent. Instead of saying single mother. Listen, you're raising children as a single parent. It basically means the mistake that happened was you didn't have an identity. You attracted a person who did not. If you're a woman, you had anger, you did not have an identity. You ended up attracting a man who was just a direct image of who you are. And when you looked in the mirror, you did not like who you are, and now this man disappeared. So you need to fix yourself. Go and forgive your mother, get your identity from your mother, go and forgive your father, overcome the nature of that evil spirit, reconnect to the spirit of the father, and now you'll know what to do. I cannot tell you what to do. You will be revealed to through that identity, because God does not speak to people. Understand? God does not speak to people. God does not use people to talk to you. God is already inside you. Allow him to actually talk to you from within you. So the only way he can do that is by revealing things. And God cannot reveal anything to a human being without an identity. You must have an identity of good so that he reveals things through that identity. And through that, you will do good. It is that simple. So God does not speak to you. Whatever you're hearing here, that is the devil. God reveals things, because the Bible says that his voice is a voiceless voice. So it reveals things through your own identity, and you simply do what that revelation says. But if you allow the spirit of the devil to live inside you, that spirit is the one that controls you. So therefore, the revelation that will be coming from you will be from the evil nature, the thoughts. And now you simply do evil, and you will defend evil, because the spirit of evil does not want to die inside you. Yeah, those brokers are just here. They are in business, bro. They have to pay bills. They have to pay bills. Anyway, these are the steps that you can actually embrace. Number one. Now you're challenging Christians because their pastors tell them God spoke to them. That is a false idea, because pastors don't have identities. That's why they speak in tongues, things that they don't understand, but they'll tell you, you know what? The Bible says we should speak in tongues. I mean, you don't even understand that language. How do you expect God to understand you? I speak in tongues. And they're like, hey, guys, there's a friend of mine called Edwin in campus. This guy took me for those prayers at night. So I went for these prayers and asked this guy, what is going to happen in those prayers? Because I was never that guy who prays for long. Like me nikiambia Mungu, unajua leo niko sawa, tuende mbele. Sawa. So this guy tells me, we are going for a kesha, and I want you to join me. I'm like, kesha, let me just go and see that. In my head, I was thinking, I'm going to scan those today I'm going to scan. Hey, so this guy decided to take me to church, and in my head, the evil nature is busy telling me, now in church there are ladies, just go and scan those ushers during Kesha. You never know, it's Kesha, you might come out with one. Hey, so I decided, let's go. We went for that prayer. And then we stood against the wall. So we were facing the wall. And then we started praying. And first of all, you start with a song. You know how you have to get into the spirit. We start with a song and we are soaking in. Hey, I'm like, this one is going to be a very amazing experience. But I have some doubt in my head. The devil is speaking to me, please leave this room before you mess up. So now we are facing the wall, and I've put in a good song, because I was listening to Edu. Just besides me, Edu is singing and praying. So now I'm like, okay, let's start. So we sing a song, and then we get in the mood, and then we start praying. Hey, my friend, right now, yeah. It was the longest 10 minutes of my time, the longest. So I was there, I'm looking at the wall, I'm facing the wall, I'm praying. And then I don't know what happened. About 3 minutes, I was done with my prayers. So I was like, okay, Mungu nishakwambia kila kitu. You know I've told you everything, God. You know me, man. I've said everything. But the guilt is telling me, just keep praying. Just say something. Just say something. Now I have to look at where Edu is. Just listen to what Edu is saying. And then I started repeating what Edu is saying. Wait until Edu went into speaking in tongues. That's why I said, Orisco, Mimi, Tawe. Edu was like, Shadra Kamobozai. I'm like, what are we saying here? And then I told this guy, let me go. There are guys who are coming for my key. Let me just drop it to them. I'm coming back. Hey, this guy followed me to the door. Bro, mapema unaenda, bro, siende bana. I'm like, no, I'm not going. How can I go? How can I leave the presence of God? How? I mean, let me just go and hand over the key and then I come back. I was like, oh, okay, sawa, bro, sawa. We'll be waiting for you, okay? In my head, I'm thinking, so these guys are waiting for me to come here, and then they'll say, wageni wasimame wasalimie watu. I was like, if I've never lied, I will lie perfectly today. That was the last time I went for those prayers. And then I was so guilty. I was judging myself again. You see how the evil nature operates. So I was judging myself. Did I do the wrong thing? How did God? Kwani mimi siwezi omba muda mrefu? Why does God just make other people speak in tongues, yet I can't speak in tongues? So I waited for Edu to come back, and then I asked Edu in the morning, bro, man, when you started praying, you went into speaking. That's what happens. There's this spirit that just falls on you and can't help it, bro. Man, I wish you knew God, bro. I wish you knew God. I'm there now. I'm like, Edu, but did you understand what you're saying? He says, no, that's just a communication between me and God. I'm like, Edu, wacha tulambe glucose, twende mbele. To cut the long story short, Edu is a preacher now. He has a church. He was serious about these things. So don't judge yourself for not being able to speak in tongues. Don't. My friend, I can't even understand myself. How will God understand me, man? Let's be honest. Let's try and be honest. 𝗘𝗣𝗑𝗘𝗓, it sounds better when you seek your identity in English. Translating the sentiments to Luo, for the sake of our parents who don't understand English is difficult and they may lose meaning. Thank you so much for raising that. But this is the ideal situation, bro. Remember, you're not going to your father or your mother to get anything from them. They're not going to forgive you. They're not going even to understand it because they're also born in the nature of evil. And until they get to seek their identities, they will never understand this language. And also remember, you're not here to change anybody. You're here to get your own identity. So you go say it in that Luo. Let them feel how they want to feel. It's none of your business. As long as you've gotten it out, you've actually asked them to forgive you. See, you're actually playing with their egos. You're not telling them, I forgive you. You're telling them, I've realized I've been resenting you, and that is not right for me. So I've realized I've been doing the wrong things. That's why I apologize. So you've played with their ego. So they will not overreact. If they overreact, it's their own problem. They are in the dark and they love it there. So until they seek their identities, that's their own problem. So you do what you have to do. And you see, this is the evil nature trying to tell you that, you know what, maybe it will come out bad. Maybe it will come out this way. Maybe they'll feel this about it. Do not listen to those thoughts. You just go and do what you have to do. And then pay attention to what they are saying, but do not act upon those thoughts. And then move. They don't have an ability to forgive you. It is God who forgives. But you must show him that you're getting them off your path of identity. Okay? Hey, nyi mnasema kuomba. Nyi hamjaomba bana. Me have prayed. Facing the walls. I'm like, hey, hii sasa Mungu atashuka. And you know, ilikuwa gorofa. About a 4-5 story building there. And we are on the top floor. Yeah, so God is just here. We just do this. Najigusia kwa mguu ya God. And now I'm here and able to speak in tongues. How bad have I fallen? And you're a preacher preaching to us on TikTok. No, I'm not a preacher. I don't even tell you these things to do them. I tell you what needs to be done. So the choice of you doing it is up to you. Lazima tucheke kidogo mazee. We can't just be serious about health content that we do. How can I record these sessions? Someone needs to hear this. It is all on YouTube. So after this session, we'll upload it on YouTube and you can find it on YouTube. Always, my lives are always on YouTube. And you can actually check the Identity Fridays. There's even a playlist of Identity Fridays. You can just go there and check it out. You'll love the content, bro. Eh? Nyinyi mnacheza, mnasema mmeomba nyinyi. Hamjui kuomba nyinyi. Muomba in tongues wewe. Have you spoken in the language of God? 𝗙𝗥𝗜𝗚𝗓𝗓. Aye. And this guy is busy even in a prayer. He throws in a Bible verse. Hapo anakuacha hata wewe. Guy throws in Luke chapter this, God, you said that hey, I'm like, well. Me hata sijasoma Bible. I'm serious. We call this a night. Anyway, let me take you through the snippets of what you should do, okay? This is the final submission. We call it a night. Number 1, take control of your life. You will never regret it. Take control of your life. It is your life. Nobody's coming in to change your life. You have to change your life on your own. It is okay to be in hell. If you love your hell, stick there. But if you want to transition, do it. Number 2, trust nobody. Listen, trust is for perfect things, and the only perfect thing is God. Trust nobody. I'm telling you this. Save yourself. Trust nobody. And when you trust nobody, don't go all the way on the roads. You're looking at people and saying, I don't trust this one. I don't trust this one. Oh, I don't trust anybody. Please, if you don't trust anybody, you go ahead with your life. Don't go pointing fingers. No, I don't trust this one. Oh, I don't trust that one. He was my friend, but I don't trust. Don't do that. Just don't trust somebody and just go on. Live your life. Okay? Number 3, always stay present. Stay present every single day. Anytime you're trying to, you'll have these episodes every time. Your mind is always wandering everywhere, going this direction, telling you this, lying to you this, deceiving you this. Do not submit to those lies. Do not submit to the evil nature that is coming through your imagination. Because in your imagination is where the darkness is. The spirit of light is in your heart. The scripture is in your heart. So you're better off listening to your heart than listening to your thoughts and imaginations. You'll be controlled. Okay? So stay present. When you stay present, the beauty about it is it will be easier for you to see how evil people are coming around you. And when you see that, do not judge them. Because remember, they are in the nature of evil. When you realize that this person has a spirit of evil in them and it's not their fault what they are doing, you will not judge them. So when you see them coming from the evil angle, you don't judge them, you don't create an opinion of them. You simply let them do what they are doing. One day they'll get to see light. But if you see it's an evil thing, make sure you point it out. Tell them, oh, you know what? This one is not right. This one is not in my lane. But do not judge it. Do not create an opinion over it. Just say it and keep moving. Okay? Number 4, when you see evil, don't ever judge it. That is actually related to number 3. Don't ever judge it because you're not the one who saw the evil. It is the spirit that lives in you, the spirit of good that actually showed you that this is evil. So remember, the light that is inside you is the one that is allowing you to see what is evil. So do not have that ego judging. If you judge, you're having ego. So it means you're thinking that you're relying on your own understanding. You're still of the spirit of evil. So if you see that judgment coming, stay present, watch it. Be aware that this is coming. Be aware that I'm wandering in my thoughts. Be aware that the devil is trying to deceive me. Do not respond. Do not act upon those thoughts. Just pay attention and relax. Okay? And relax. And then, remember that when you're seeing evil, you don't need to protect yourself against evil. The same light that showed you that this is evil is the same light that will protect you against the spirit of evil. So you'll live a very healthy life. You'll not worry about what is happening in the world. You will be in the world that is full of evil people and evil things, but you will not be of the world of evil. And that's why we say, we thank God that we are on this side of heaven, because your heaven is here actually and is in your heart. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and the righteousness, and the rest shall be added unto you. It's that simple. So once you get that kingdom, through getting an identity, you will get the perfect peace, and now you'll be living on heaven. Here on earth, as other people are living in their hell, struggling to wonder about how the economy is bad, how they don't have a job, how they can't do this, how their marriage is crumbling, how their relationships are not functional, how their businesses are crumbling. Those are people who are actually chasing the rest. As you chase the righteousness and the Spirit of God, they are chasing the rest that are supposed to be added unto them. So whatever is supposed to be theirs is supposed to be added to those who already have an identity. Okay? And then, anytime you get lost in your thoughts and your mind is wandering, do not judge yourself. Whether you're in prayer, and because when you're doing a silent prayer, your mind is always wandering. So do not judge yourself. If you start praying, you're doing a silent prayer, and then your thoughts are all over. Realize that that's the devil trying to distract you from your purpose. So what do? Come back. Just be aware and then come back. Stay present all the time. Struggle to stay present. Do not be lied to that you have a future. You don't have it. It's in your imagination. That's a lie. You don't have a past. Don't even create an opinion about your past because you don't have it. It's in your imagination. The two, the future and the past, are all in your imagination. So when you start overthinking things, please be aware that I'm overthinking. Come back. Be present instantly. That's how you'll survive this battle, okay? Yeah. And then you will immediately start just doubting your thoughts and living in the present. Your body, there's a way your mind starts to adapt in living that way in a natural state. So now the mind will start living in the present. You see how that ego dies. So you might think that because I'm trying to live present, how long will it take? Please don't even think about that. You stick to your identity and stick in present. Once you're in present, what happens is your mind always has a way of adapting to that new nature. So therefore your ego starts to die, and when the ego dies, now you become of the new nature, and now your mind will always be living in present. Now it will be easier for you to see evil. It will be easier for you to discern things. Okay? So understand that. If you're wandering all the time, just know that your imagination is going in the dark, it's trying to pull you back into the dark. Please come back. And then the last part, when the devil starts to scream to your ears, because when you're trying to find an identity and you're trying to lead a righteous life, the devil is constantly singing into your ears. So when the devil starts to scream to your ears, telling you, how long will this last? How long am I going to suffer? Is this the right thing? Why is it so hard? That is not you. So be aware again that this is not me. This is the spirit of the devil that's actually deceiving me through my own thoughts. Doubt that thought. And then when you doubt that thought, you overcome the spirit of evil. Amazing story, right? You overcome it. And that's what you want, because anytime the devil does not want to die, that spirit does not want to die in you. And if it starts dying, that death is painful to you as an individual. Oh, you will feel pain. You will go through hell. So endure that, because when you endure that hell, that suffering, that's when God manifests. So endure that suffering. Whatever you're going through, endure it. Don't seek for help. Don't do anything. Just be aware, stick in present, and endure the suffering. Because that's an ego death. Ego death is a very painful experience. But once the ego is gone, oh, perfect peace comes in. Perfect peace comes in. So always stay present. That spirit does not want to depart you. It will not. It will fight to stick there. And that's why it makes it very painful for you as an individual, both physically and even emotionally. But when the ego dies, perfect peace. So always watch yourself feeling that pain. Always watch yourself. Stay present, stay in prayer, keep doing what you're doing, endure the pain, and watch yourself going and enduring that feeling. And through that, you'll be here preaching stories of identities to other people. Okay? And you will not push the agenda to them. You'll make them understand. Once they understand, they will choose if they want to follow that path or not. Again, remember, you're not Jesus. You're not here to save anybody. You're not here to make judgment. Okay? Simply live your life, make it a perfect life, and impact people around you. If you have a chance to have platforms like mine, you can share your views, but do not be that person who wants to impart your views in people. Just share your views without having to depend on how they receive it. And before you share this, you must get an identity, because through that, you will know that you don't have to push this to people, and that you don't have to be accepted. You will have to say the right things. You will always pursue the righteousness, and that's the perfect life. So therefore, thank you so much for being part of this conversation on this side of heaven. We don't take you for granted. We hope that you can actually have this conversation with us. We will help you overcome anger. We will help you overcome that loneliness. We will help you get back your identities. And we hope that these lives are always intended to actually impart your life. We hope that they are doing that, because if we don't add value to your life, we don't deserve to exist. Stay present, stick in prayer. Always know that ego death is not a joke, and it's not a journey for everybody. You deserve better. You're designed for the best, and the best you will get. You even have it. You just don't know, because you've allowed the spirit of evil to mask the spirit of good. Allow the spirit of evil to die. Let it die. It's a painful death. But once it dies, you'll resurrect in the spirit of good. Now, thank you so much for being part of us. We welcome you to a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night shows. And you already see how beautiful they are. Just being here trying to tell these stories, interesting stories that will actually show you the bigger picture of how life is. And yeah, we have fun sometimes. We have a comedy show, and then we have a health show, and then we have Identity Fridays. All of them are just a big, big success because of you, courtesy of you guys. So therefore, it is always amazing to have you on board. Have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon from wherever you're watching us. This is Dr. Lewis from the Health and Wellness Spot. Bye-bye. We'll see you on Monday.